Hi everyone! Today we are creating a fox and we're going to be learning how to use our drawing tools to add a furry texture to that fox. So we're going to start with our pencil, and I have my eraser here just in case I need it for any mistakes or anything that I want to edit to make it look even better. So let's start with a curve that's going to go across the middle of my paper. So I'm leaving a little bit of room at the top and lots of room at the bottom for the body of my fox. So start on one side and just curve a little bit up and way over. This is the top of our fox's head. Then I'm going to add the bottom of the head. So this curve is going to go down a little bit further now and back up. So it kind of looks like a football shape. Next we'll add our ears. Make sure that when you make your fox's ears, you make them really big. Foxes have big ears so that they can hear things that are far away. Start on the corner and curve up and out for one side of your ear. And then from that top, curve out and back down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So from the corner, curve out and up, and then back down the other side. I'm going to add some texture in my fox's ears just to show that they have fur that is in their ears to keep them warm. So I'm going to start at the top and I'm just going to do a little zigzag down to the bottom of the ear. I do that on both sides, so from the top to the bottom. Next, let's work on our fox's face. So the nose of our fox is going to go on the bottom edge. So I'm just going to add a little oval on the bottom edge of my fox's face. And then when I add the eyes, I'm going to keep them nice and low. So they're not going to go way up here. They're going to stay low, just above the nose with two circles. Foxes have a lighter color around their eyes, so we're going to draw that by starting on the nose, and I'm going to curve up around the eye and to the other side of the face where his cheek is. So just gently curve up and over like that. And do the same thing to the other side. So start back on that nose, curve up and over, and to the other side. One of mine ended up a little bigger than the other, but that's okay. I'm not trying to make a perfect fox. I'm just trying my best and following the steps. And your fox is definitely going to look different than mine. We're all making our own foxes. Let's work on the body of our fox. So depending on how much space you have a long body, you might have a short body, it might be a medium body. They're all going to look different. So below the eye, on the edge of the fox, I'm going to add a curve. So I'm going to go out a little bit and down. Do the same thing to the other side. Out a little bit and down. Good job. Now for the feet, I'm going to put two really tall U shapes for the feet. So I'm going to go way down and up. Whoa, that went a little crooked, but that's okay. Way down again for the second one and back up. Then I'm going to connect from my curve to the feet. And I'm going to connect in the middle between the feet. At the top of the U's, I'm going to connect those lines, but I'm going to use a zigzag to show a furry texture. So a zigzag connecting the tops of the feet. And then I can add two little lines at the bottom of the feet to show little toes. Super cute. Next, I'm going to add a belly to my fox. So the belly of our fox is also going to be a different color. So we're going to make that space too. So I'm going to start at the bottom next to my foot, and I'm just going to curve up around, and back down. The last thing we're going to add is our fox's tail. It's going to be peeking out behind our fox, so you can put it on either side. But I'm going to start on the edge up here, kind of in the middle of my fox's body. I'm going to curve up and out. And then I'm going to curve way down and back. So it's a nice fat fluffy tail. It has lots of fur on it. And the tip of fox's tail is usually a different color too. So I'm going to show that with a zigzag line going across the tail. And we have our fox. Now we're going to use our coloring tools to add a fur texture. So follow along with me step by step. Please make sure that you're following the directions because we're going to do this a little differently than we are used to. So start with your orange crayon. If you don't have a crayon, you could use an orange colored pencil or an orange marker. But if I check my crayon, it says orange. We're making sure we're not using the crayon that says yellow orange. That's going to be next. So we have our orange coloring tool, and we're going to fill the orange spaces of our fox, but we're going to use lines instead of coloring because the lines will show the texture. So I'm going to start with this top part of the head. Following these curves that we made, I'll start on the nose, and I'm going to make a dotted line that goes right next to it. When I made my dotted line, I did not tap my crayon. I drew the lines. Then I'm going to go the other way. I'm pushing hard with my crayon so that it's nice and dark. And then from there I'm going to add more and more lines going each way. So one side, then the other, until I fill that top part of my fox. There we go. I'm also going to use my lines to fill this half of my fox's ears, and I'm going to make these lines following the curve. And going out towards the zigzag. Very fluffy. Showing that fluffy fur texture. So I'm just using lines. Then this large part of the body is going to be filled with lines, and so is this bottom part of the tail. For my body, I'm just going to make my lines going down. So I'm going to add them one row at a time. So there's one row, and I'll keep going. Once you're done filling the top part of the body, and it goes down along the side a little bit next to the stomach and the tail, then we're going to switch to a different color. So I'm going to use a yellow color for the lighter parts of my fox. So I'm going to put those dotted lines in the stomach with my yellow. I'm also going to add them to the area around the eyes. And the inside of the ears, and the tip of the tail. So again, I'm using the dotted lines. When you're done with the yellow, take your black crayon, add dotted lines to the bottoms of the feet. And I'm also going to use my black crayon to color in my eyes and my nose. And we have our texture fox. When you are finished with your dotted lines showing the texture of your fox, if we have extra time, then you may add a background. When I add my background, I want to make my fox sitting on something. So I'm going to make my fox sitting in the grass. So at the edge of my fox, I'm going to add a grassy line, which is going to be zigzag to show the bumpy texture of the grass, going out from the fox to the edge of the page. And then I'm going to color the whole page. If you would like to make a different background for your fox, you can. Okay, so this is what my fox looks like with the background completely colored. I put some clouds and some birds and some grass. If you'd like to do this for your background, you can, or you can make up your own. Maybe your fox is in the winter time, or maybe there's trees behind it, or maybe it's at your house. It's totally up to you. I cannot wait to see your finished fox.